Good morning. This morning we're going to make a chocolate pie. This is old-fashioned chocolate pie. One of my husband's grandmother always made, so we call it Betty Lou's chocolate pie. But we're going to make our crust and then we're going to make the pie. So I hope you'll stick around and join me. It's really easy. In my pie pan or pie plate, I have 2 1/4 cups of flour and a teaspoon of salt. I'm just going to mix it around. The old-fashioned way, you can mix it in a bowl and then roll it out if you want to, or you can just mix it in the pie plate. That's hard to say this morning. And it works about the same way. So I've mixed my salt and my flour together. I have 1/2 cup of oil. Just going to pour that in there. Now it calls for 6 tablespoons of milk, of cold milk. Now what I do is I like to do heaping. How do you heap liquids? Okay, I tell you what, when I'm pouring in my tablespoon, I let it overflow a little bit as I measure, keep measuring. I think it works better that way. So we're going to put our milk in here. So this is our 6 heaping tablespoons of milk. Now we're just going to mix it up. Just takes a few minutes. Get it all incorporated there. You might as well get ready because you're going to have to use your hands. Scoop it around the sides like you do bread. Mix it in good. And then start spreading it out all over your plate. Now this makes for a great big pie. If you don't need a great big pie, you can take about half of that out if you're just using for a little pie. Get your thumbs in there, get your fingers in there, smash it about. You can use the back of your measuring thing if you like, or not. I think it works better with my fingers. Make sure it goes up the side good, because we're going to have to bake this. Since our pie don't get baked in the shell, we've got to bake the shell first. So I've got my oven heating up at 450. It only takes about 7 to 12 minutes. So if you bake a pie shell, if you don't have filling in it, there's something you got to do. You got to poke holes in it. Otherwise, it'll puff up. So, once you get all your pie crust down in this plate really good and ready to go, you got to take a fork or knife, go around the sides and across the bottom, and just poke little holes in it. Then when it bakes, it won't create air bubbles and puff up, because you don't want a puffy crust in there. It just takes a few minutes just to do it out, but that's no big deal. To make good things, it takes a little bit. I'm still puffing, going around, trying to get it. You want to try to get it about even. So one side's not got more crust than the other. Or one side's not real thick and one side's not real thin. You judge that by the feeling of you with your thumb or your finger. Get your sides all puffed up there because they will shrink a little bit. You want it right up to the top. I got this fancy pie plate that's got all these ridges around it. Makes for a pretty crust and a pretty pie. Alright, got our pie crust all in there. It's not real beautiful, but that's okay. There's gonna be pie in it. Let me get a fork. You just take your fork, put little holes all the way around it. I think it's almost a little too thick in the middle. I'm not real happy with that. I'm going to pull a little bit of it out. Spread that back out. Too much crust can be a bad thing, is too little of a crust. It's just a little too thick for my liking. But that happens, that's okay. Smooth this back down. Now I know a lot of people don't like crust, but I like crust. I think it tastes wonderful. I like to take the extra and roll it out and put a little cinnamon and sugar on it and bake it in the oven. Dip it in some strawberry jam or something like that. Alright, now we've got this about, that feels much better to me. Don't feel near as thick. Okay. Guess we could make it a little bit smoother. Just roll this around on it a little bit. Alright. Now we're going to start with our fork again. And make little holes all the way around it. Around the sides. Alright. Now I'm going to go put this in the oven. Alright. Now we're going to make our pie filling. Let me clean that off. I'll move you a little bit so you can see the stove. See, can we find the stove? There's the stove. Alright, now what we're going to get here, much better, is you need 2 cups of milk. Oh, wait a minute, almost overstepped. First, we need a cup of sugar. Where's my cup of sugar? Here it is. Put my cup of sugar in. Now, what's important here? We need a heaping tablespoon of cocoa and a heaping tablespoon of flour. Oops. So, a heaping. See that heaping? Put that in there. Now we need the same in flour. See my heaping? Alright. Now, you want to mix this flour and sugar and cocoa together. If there's any lumps, try to get it out. always little lumps of cocoa in there. Try to get out as much as you can. Now this recipe calls for 3 eggs separated. So you want 3 egg whites separated from the yolks. The whites we're going to use for the meringue in just a little bit, or calf slobber as my dad likes to say. Okay, once we got this mixed, we're going to put those 3 egg yolks in here. In with our flour, sugar, and cocoa. Just mix it up a little bit. It's not pretty, just don't look good. What we're going to do to mix this so it mixes real good, we're going to add just a little bit of milk at a time. Just mix it in real slow and let all of it mix together so it's just sort of lumpy and clumpy. This is the way I mix hot chocolate. Then chocolate mixes up real well. A little bit at a time. We get it all mixed in, and a lot of the clumps come out of it because it's grinding all together there. See how that's looking in there? A little bit at a time. Helps it mix more evenly. And all that sugar rubbing around in there mixes the cocoa in pretty good. And now you can see it looking really smoother. And then you can just start pouring your milk in a little bit more at a time, mixing as you go. Now we've got our milk in. Now, we're going to put this on the stove and cook it. But you need to have a couple things ready. You need to have a 1/3 stick of butter. 1/3 stick of butter ready. And you need to have I think it's a teaspoon of vanilla, which I've got my vanilla right here, so it'll be ready. Half a teaspoon vanilla. So now we're going to put this on the stove. We're going to put it on medium and let it cook. Now the trick to this is you got to stir it the whole time. That flour in there and that sugar and that cocoa will cook up and mix and get thick and bubbly, and that's what you want it to do. I mean thick and bubbly. I'll show you when it gets there. There's still a few little pieces of cocoa floating around in there. It'll be okay. Just keep stirring. We've got our pie crust still cooking over there. I got it in my little oven. I didn't want to heat up the whole kitchen, so just got the little oven going. I'll check on it in a few minutes. Now this is for our Thanksgiving tomorrow. What kind of pies did you make? I know a lot of people make pumpkin, pecan, apple. Let's see, I think my dad made a pecan pie. I'm making chocolate. I think my daughter's making a pumpkin roll. She's good at making pumpkin rolls. All those leftover pumpkins from Halloween, we cover them up and cook them down, and then we got some nice fresh pumpkin. She makes the best pumpkin rolls. Then all those seeds and leftover from pumpkin we take out and feed them to our goats. We got goats and chickens here, and they just love them, and it helps keep them warm. other sides do you make with Thanksgiving? Do you make dressing? Or some people stovetop? No, we do dressing at my house. Or at my mom's house. The old-fashioned kind. Cornbread dressing. Can't beat it. Can't beat it. We usually have some sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes, corn, green beans, buffalo chicken dip, some deviled eggs. I know veggie tray, always have a veggie tray. Green beans, did I say green beans? Trying to think of all the things we have. Cranberry sauce, gotta have cranberry sauce. Although, we buy that old canned stuff. As many things as we make fresh, we buy the old canned stuff of cranberry sauce. But, I don't eat cranberry sauce. Never liked it. Don't even like the fresh stuff. I'm just not a big cranberry fan. But that's okay. Some people are. More power to you. Eat those cranberries. They're good for you. This process takes a little while. But that's okay. We're going to keep going. That's what makes it so good. It's called old-fashioned. Everybody likes instant these days. But the old-fashioned stuff is worth waiting for. You just can't beat the flavor. The textures, oh, they're wonderful. Oh, rolls. We have rolls. I made rolls the other day. Remember, I made a video on rolls. They turned out really good. They're really cute. Do y'all have any traditions that y'all do? I know, like, we used to, if it was warm on Thanksgiving, the guys would get out and shoot. Well, the girls too, if they wanted to. We like to play games with the kids, sit around the table, look at all the sales ads, know what you're not going to go on to get on Black Friday. Most things you can order online anyway. I don't want to deal with the crowds. I know a lot of people like that. That's exciting. That's their fun thing to do. Hey, do it to it. We did it for years. I'm past that these days. I'd just rather sit at home and enjoy some quiet, maybe watch a family movie. If you know how to time things, if you do get out, once the crowds are gone, it's pretty pleasant shopping. I've got out a few times afterwards. In the afternoon, you know, these days people go at midnight. I'm not a midnight goer. I once was. Not anymore. This is starting to thicken up a little bit, but it's not where it needs to be. Good things come to those who wait. You gotta wait to make this pie. I'm gonna set this just a second and go check my crust. Almost done. It probably would have been done, but my oven kicked off. I'm cooking in a toaster oven, you know. You push them, it comes on for 30 minutes. So I had it heating up, and then I let it kick off. Alright, this is starting to bubble. Bubbling around the sides. So it means it's starting to get thick. And that's what we want. It's bubbling. I think you can see that, yeah? We just want to keep stirring it for a few seconds here, a few minutes. Make sure it's all nice and thick. You want to cook that flour anyway. I needed a longer spoon. My hand's getting hot. Once this comes off the stove, we're going to put our vanilla in it, and we're going to put our butter and stir it till it melts. Ooh, my hand's hot. Oh yeah, nice and thick. It still runs, but it's thick. And cook it just a little bit more. Ooh, it smells good. Oh yeah. I'm gonna shut it off. Now I'm gonna get my third stick of butter, drop it in there. My half teaspoon of vanilla. Once you've been cooking as long as I have, you can just tell when it pours. Move it off the heat. Be a pothole. Sit it here on the cabinet. Now you're just melting that butter. Now while it sits there and melts just a minute, I'm going to check my pie crust. Better get me a pie holder and my feet. Alright, here's the pie crust. It's a little bit brown around there, just not a whole lot, but just enough. What we're going to do with that is our butter melts here. We're going to pour this in our crust, and then we're going to make the meringue. Pour this right in our crust. Shake it out all good. Oh, don't that look good? This is one of my family's favorites. Not all people are chocolate lovers. I don't know what's wrong with them. Alright. Now, we're going to make our meringue real quick. It's not hard to make. Got our bowl. I have to back you up a little bit or pull you down. We got our egg whites. Where are my egg whites? Here they are. And I'm going to use my old handy dandy hand mixer. And just beat the far out of them. Don't touch me off. They're already whipping up. You got a couple of choices here. You can add cream or tartar, or you don't have to. Some say it makes it get a little bit bigger. I don't see much of a difference unless you add a lot of egg whites. Then it's going to get bigger. But a lot of times I don't. But when it starts, you pull this out, it just flops over. What you want to do is be able to pull this, and it's called soft peaks, and it'll start to stand up and make a peak. You see that? I pulled that out. Can you see those little, oh, you see them poking up there? That's soft peaks. And what we're going to do is add a half teaspoon of vanilla. And then we're going to add 5 tablespoons of sugar. Yeah, that's a lot of sugar. I'm just going to add a little bit at a time, but that's what makes it taste good. Look at that. See how it stands out there? Yep, that's what we want. Alright. I like to use a spoon. We're going to scrape this out here on top. And we're going to seal the edges of the pie. Go around the edge. If you want lots of meringue, you just add some more egg whites before you make it, before you whip it up. I sort of like to have it about even, so I don't have too much meringue. I'm not big on the Mile High meringue. I just like to fluff that around a little bit. Now, one other thing I like to do is I like to take a little bit of my cocoa powder and sprinkle it on my chocolate pie. Now, my oven is still on over there, and I'm going to set this back in the oven for about 5 minutes, and it's going to get all toasty brown. Oh, it's hot. Let me put it in. I hope that you'll try to make a chocolate pie. It's not too hard. Takes a little bit of time. Of course, we've already talked about that. Anything good just takes a little bit of time. But I enjoy spending time with you. I enjoy you watching me cook, and I sometimes get a little crazy. Don't we all? It's what makes life exciting. I'm going to get that pie out just here in a few minutes and show you how pretty it is. And it is pretty. I haven't really told you much about myself, but I live in Kentucky, in western Kentucky. That's where the accent comes from. It's not quite as southern drawl as some, but I lived in California for a while, and they just all knew I was from Texas. Not from Texas. Husband was in the Marine Corps, so we was stationed at Camp Pendleton for 2.5 years. So I've lived on the East Coast and the West Coast because of the Marine Corps. But now we're back in Kentucky where family and friends are. Been here for 30 years or more now. But I enjoy it. Got a little homestead going. Goats, chickens, dog, cat. Get milk, get eggs, make cheese, make soap, all the fun stuff. I like getting back to nature. Doing it the old-fashioned way. Gives you a little bit more appreciation for what you got. Let me check that pie. She is just about ready. She's starting to turn a little brown on top. That's what you want, a little bit of brown all the way around. It's what makes it so pretty and so good. I hope that this Thanksgiving you're thankful for everything that's around you, for your family, for your friends. If you know somebody that is going to be alone, adopt them into your family and bring them along. Don't let them sit alone. Nobody needs to be alone. Everybody needs a little bit of time with just friends. It makes a big difference in people's lives. Just somebody to smile at. See if you see a neighbor. Some of those older folks can't get out. That's okay. Make them a plate. Drop it by over there. Say hi, let them tell you an old wise tale or story from the good old days. It'll make their day. Let's check that pie again. And here she be, lightly browned and beautiful. I hope y'all have a good Thanksgiving. Don't forget to give God all the glory. Have a good day.